Hello and welcome to this Ferris State University Bulldog football preview. I'm the voice of the Bulldogs, Rob Bentley, alongside Sandy Gholston. As Ferris State gets set to return home, the Bulldogs hosting American International for the first time ever this Saturday at Top Taggart Field. Kickoff set for 1 p.m. And Sandy, the Bulldogs coming in after a good road win at Michigan Tech on a long road trip this past weekend.
Yeah, any road win over Michigan Tech is a good win. So Bulldogs went up there to the UP. They did what they had to do, played a solid game, and now they want to continue to build on that. And this game is an opportunity for them to do that, to continue to sharpen some things up. This is a stretch run for the Bulldogs. It's really with playoff-like intensity needed for the Bulldogs to stay in that position right now. Right now, they're in a good position to make the playoffs, but they have to keep winning.
Obviously, Ferris State this past Saturday, 5 touchdowns from Carson Golker, named the GLIAC Offensive Player of the Week. And on defense, a lot of new faces that saw some extended playing time for the Bulldogs with some of the injuries.
Yeah, not only some new faces that saw some playing time, but the return of some older faces that were out, they came back. We talked about Sheldon Cage, the guy that came back into the lineup, and he really played, I thought, really, really well. Cephas Sapaya just continues to get better at linebacker. He has really stepped in and done a great job. And there are a number of guys on that defense. You look at our cornerbacks, we've been, kind of injury hit at cornerback, and those guys have come in and they've stepped up, and we've seen them get better and better and better. And so hopefully that trend will continue, and then slowly we can start to work some of these guys back into the lineup and be ready for the stretch run of the season.
Ferris State and American International squaring off for the first time ever. American International last year hosted Grand Valley State, a little tie to the GLIAC, but obviously a new opponent, a new challenge here for the Bulldogs.
Yeah, it's a new challenge, and anytime you face an opponent that you're unfamiliar with, there's probably a little bit of anxiety. You're scrambling, you're trying to get film, and you're trying to find out as much as you can. And so that's something that the coaches have been working on, of course, throughout this week to get the guys prepared for the game, to get the guys on point, doing the things fundamentally that they need to do to be successful on Saturday and to keep this thing moving forward.
For Ferris State, obviously the Bulldogs back at home, a couple weeks on the road, a long road trip last weekend, and going to be nice to play back in front of the home fans here 2 of the final 3 weeks of the regular season.
A very long road trip. I mean, if you're players, your recovery time is probably a little bit better than some of the older guys like us who maybe are still recovering from that long road trip to Michigan Tech. But, the thing you like about that road trip, and you and I joke about this all the time when we're coming back, it's better to come back from a long road trip with a win. And that's what the Bulldogs were able to do. And so now they get a chance to come back home, get some home cooking, sleep in their own beds, have their fans right there in attendance supporting them.
I know we've talked about it before, but Ferris State obviously next week, a huge challenge with a potential unbeaten team in Davenport, in a game that could have some major playoff implications. You can't look ahead, though, past American International here at home.
Yeah, I mean, if you take care of business today, then you have what, could be an elimination game in terms of the playoffs. And so, that's how high the stakes are right now. Every win is important. Every game is important from here on out. The Bulldogs have to first lock in on American International. That is the only priority right now, because if you don't win that, then next week doesn't really matter as much.
We'll have all the action for you, starting with the Bulldog Tailgate Show at 11 a.m. on Sunny 97.3 and online at ferrisstatebulldogs.com. Pregame coverage continues at noon with the Johnson Automotive Pregame Show. And then, of course, kickoff 1 o'clock on Saturday. You can get your tickets online at ferrisstatebulldogs.com/tickets. We'll have the game on Flow Sports as well on Saturday afternoon. This has been the Ferris State Football Preview. For Sandy Gholston, I'm Rob Bentley. Thanks for tuning in.